Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Dawn here, and in today's episode, we're going to review the cross examination of David Garber. He's the forensic specialist who took photos, basically, among a few other things that we'll hear about, at the Millete residence on January 23rd, 2021, under a search warrant and under the direction of detectives. So watch for some juicy moments. I noticed, not sure if you will, when Garber deals with Larry's defense attorneys, uh, fumbling around and getting outside of his lane and outside of her lane and outside everybody's lane. It's kind of fun. So Garber proved to be pretty sharp, focused, somewhat a little bit maybe snarky, but he was holding firm as Larry Millete's defense attorney kind of repeatedly pressed him and tempted him to opine about things that were outside the scope of his expertise. And so the result, the cross-examination that highlighted just how maybe unprepared the defense appears to be in this case. That's at least what I'm hearing, a lot of accusations. I'm not sure if she's unprepared. I think she might be someone. Okay. I'm not sure. I'll let you know when we get going on this. But so remember, I'm not monetized, okay? So what that means is YouTube doesn't push out my content like it would normally channels that have monetized, because they don't make money. And so I'm relying on you to share these videos, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here in the chat and replaying wherever you are. And I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, especially when I jump on for commentary. So again, if you haven't caught up yet, or if you want to catch up, there's plenty of time. The full playlist is bit.ly/MM playlist. MM stands for Maya Millete, so that's capital M hyphen capital P, and then LAYLIST, not capitalized. So title case there. So I also would just like to remind you to click that CC button for closed captioning, because the audio quality from the courtroom is not great. So with that, let me know if you think the defense is out of her depth, or if she's crazy like a fox, smarter than a fox. I'd really like to hear what you have to say. So let's get started. There'll be 3 different clips, 3 different pauses. We're still on day 1. We're ending up day 1 today, starting on day 2. So I will pause when I'm changing out the videos for the least amount of interruptions. So with that, let's get rolling. Sorry, I had this queued up and I lost the queue. So let me just get back over here where. Other than. Oh, goodness sakes, I'm gonna have to freaking pause.
15 minutes. Good afternoon, Mr. Garber.
Good afternoon.
How many vehicles did you find in the house when you were there on January 23, 2021?
I believe there were 3 vehicles at the residence.
Did you take photographs of the vehicles?
Yes, I did take photographs of the vehicles.
Could you tell us what kind of vehicles were there?
There's the truck, the Toyota truck, that was parked in the garage. There was the black Lexus that was parked in the driveway, and then there was a black Jeep that was also parked in the driveway.
Were you able to go into the entire garage, and did you take photographs of the entire garage?
Yes, this truck was moved out of the garage, and the officers searched the entire garage.
Did those officers take more photographs, more than what you did?
No, it's my responsibility to take the photographs.
Since you are responsible as a forensic analyst, is that what they call you? Forensic analyst?
My job title is forensic specialist.
A specialist. So what exactly were you looking for?
That's outside my job duties. My job duties are to...
So right off the bat, I was kind of surprised, to put it lightly, that the defense attorney here doesn't know the job title of this witness who has been on the stand for over 30 minutes already and who has gone into great detail about what his responsibilities are, what his title is, what his professional background was even prior to his role in the Chula Vista Department, police department. So right off the bat, I can see why some people might think that this attorney is unprepared. And let's see how he answers.
photograph the scene and to collect evidence identified by investigators as being relevant to the crime or the search warrant, and then process or make prints if it's requested.
So during the January 23, 2021 visit at Mr. Millite's house, did you collect items inside the house?
Yes, I did.
So did you take photographs of those items?
Yes, I did.
Did you provide those items to counsel?
Upon completion of my duties as a search warrant, I write a report that details the photographs that I've taken, evidence that's collected, and any other duties that I've done at the crime scene. And that report is then funneled through investigators to the DA's office.
Did you take photographs of what's inside the safe deposit box that you showed on the photograph?
Can you...
Now prepare yourself for this one because it's going to be fun. Check it out.
repeat that question?
One of the photographs showed a room or a closet that contained a safe deposit box. You recall that picture?
Yes, I recall the safe within the closet, yes.
Did you open that safe deposit box and take a photograph of the contents of the safe deposit box?
I don't remember exactly if I did take a picture of the contents of the safe deposit box within that safe.
You don't remember seeing the interior of the safe deposit box?
I remember seeing the inside of the safe. I don't remember the safe deposit box within the safe.
Can you describe what you saw inside the safe deposit box?
I don't recall the safe deposit box within the safe. I could describe what was in the safe to the best of my recollection, but I don't remember a safe deposit box within the safe.
Okay, so what did you see? Describe what you saw inside the safe.
Inside the safe were a number of firearms. I believe there was some valuable coins within the safe. There was some digital storage devices like SD cards, memory sticks within that safe. And I believe there was some ammo.
What do you think? Is she not listening to the answer? Is she not understanding his answers? What is happening here? That there's such a disconnect about safe deposit box. He answered her like 3 different times, very politely, but this is why I think this attorney is getting the reputation, or got the reputation, that she was not prepared. I'm not sure if that's what it is. There's some kind of disconnect here, but I think it's kind of amusing. As much as something this serious can be amusing, we do know that we find a lot of humor, as well as a lot of education in watching these trials and hearings. So with that, let me know what you think.
Did you see any jewelry inside the safe?
Not that I recall.
Did you see any tapes inside the safe?
Any tapes as in videotapes?
Correct.
Not that I recall.
How about money? Did you see any inside the safe?
Other than what was described as valuable coins within the safe, no.
Did you remove any documents inside the house?
I may have removed some documents as evidence from the house. I would have to refer to my report to clarify.
Can you describe how much evidence of documents you took from the house?
Off the top of my head, no, I cannot. I would need to review my report to give you that answer.
Can you estimate it?
I repeat, I need to review my report. I don't recall, ma'am. So he had to repeat himself twice now. And now she's going to ask, just take a guess. Go ahead, just guess.
Counsel, would you like him to look at the report so we can
Okay.
refresh your recollection?
So the judge tries to help. Counsel, would you like him to review his report to refresh his memory? Because, she needs a little help, I guess.
Did you have an opportunity to enter
But evidently, it's not that important. Never mind, I'll just move on.
the master's bedroom in the second floor and exit through a door leading to the balcony that's connected to the master's bedroom?
I don't remember if I exited the main bedroom onto the balcony or not.
So to the best of your recollection, you did not photograph the balcony itself.
I photographed it. We displayed a photograph of the balcony from the backyard.
Right, but from the master's bedroom going out into the door leading to the balcony, do you remember photographing or picturing that space?
No, I don't recall.
During your walk inside and outside of the house, did you see a ladder?
I don't recall if I saw a ladder or not.
So, do you think that Larry has suggested to his attorney that Maya escaped out of the bedroom? Why would she need to escape out of the bedroom? Because it was locked from the outside. Maybe using a ladder, going down the ladder from the balcony in the bedroom to the backyard, which we saw in photographs yesterday, and then departing that way. Because, of course, the defense theory at this point was that Maya left on her own volition.
Do you recall taking the photograph of the interior of a shower room in the master's bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And when you entered the shower room in the master's bedroom, what did you observe?
As I entered that bathroom attached to the main bedroom, to the right is the tub. Directly in the center of the bathroom is the shower, and to the left would be the vanities, sinks, and the toilet.
Were there any damages to the walls inside the master's bedroom?
There was the walls and ceiling of the bathroom in the main bedroom were unpainted as if they had been refinished. I remember that. There was damage to the door leading to the main bedroom, which was depicted in one of the photographs.
So you're describing a damage to the door as you enter the master's bedroom, correct?
Correct. The
That
main bedroom.
you describe has a damage.
It had a patch on the door.
Can you describe the patch? Is it dry? Is it wet? Is it new?
It was dry.
Can you tell if it has been recently repaired?
No, I cannot tell that.
Did you find any items inside the house that has been broken?
Not that I recall.
Besides the master's bedroom patch that you described, were there any other damages to any of the doors of the house?
Not that I recall.
We're going to take a 15-minute recess at this time. We'll see you next week. For some recess.
We're going to take a quick pause.
Mr. Garber, the photograph of the exterior of the house, when you took a photograph of the fireplace, were you able to see inside the fireplace if there was, some burn material inside the fireplace?
Not when I took that photograph. No. I didn't look inside the fireplace.
Okay, so there were no photographs of the inside of the fireplace.
Not that I recall.
How about inside the house? Did you see a fireplace inside the house?
No, I don't remember a fireplace being inside the house.
Were you able to photograph the gates on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, were there gates exiting towards the front of the house?
Yes, there are gates at the front of the house on both the right and left-hand side. I didn't take specific photographs of those gates, but those gates are in photographs that I took.
Do you recall if it was easy to exit those gates?
I don't remember trying to go through those gates.
Okay. How about the backyard? Did you see any exit gates in the backyard?
Other than the two that we had just discussed, no, there were not any other exit gates.
Okay. Now,
I pick up on a little snark. I mean, he's being thorough. He's being a very good witness, but he's also saying, other than the two gates that we already discussed, how many more gates does a yard have? This isn't a mansion. This is just a regular home with a regular little backyard. So, other than the two that we just discussed, ma'am, no, there weren't six other gates. I don't know. I don't know where she's going with this. As far as whether he photographed burned items in the fireplace or in the fire pit outside, that is going to come up later. If you're familiar with this case, you might know why she's asking that. But there is evidence, and he might not have photographed it on this first search warrant, but later on there is evidence about this that will come up.
as a forensic specialist, is it part of your job to take photographs of the attic as well?
If I'm asked to take photographs in the attic, yes, I will go and take photographs.
In this case, did you take photographs of the attic?
No, I did not.
Was there a basement in this house?
Not that I believe.
Okay. At the time that you took the photographs, were there any residents inside the house?
Yes, there were.
Can you identify those residents?
It was the Millete family, and I believe one of the parents and spouse of Larry, I believe the parents of Larry were in the residence as well.
Were they exactly in the interior of the house when you were taking the photographs?
They were inside the house the whole time we were there, yes.
Were they the ones who gave you the description of whose room this particular room is?
No, those descriptions were given to me by the detectives.
Oh, okay. And you were able to label those photographs as you were doing your tour inside the house?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
As you were taking photographs, did you have an opportunity to mark each room to identify them later?
The rooms are identified from the actual photograph.
Meaning
Meaning I take a picture of the room and that room is in the photograph. I don't do any other labeling to the photograph, if that was what you're asking.
Now, if you're looking closely at him, you might have just picked up a little hint of amusement in his eyes when he was answering that question, because you can tell that he's challenged by these questions, not in the way that they're difficult for him to answer. They're difficult because they're odd. And I think that, so for people to pick up on some of these things, I don't think it's extraordinary or unusual, because even the forensic specialist here is kind of trying to hold back some laughter when he answers some of these questions.
okay. And you would not be able to describe who was actually occupying a certain room in that house based on your photographs.
Well, there were names of the two children on the doors to the rooms. That would be a good indicator of whose room those were. As far as the main room, I couldn't tell you who was in that room. As far as the extra room, I do not know who was living in that room. For the room that was on the first floor, I was told by the detectives that it was Larry's parents that were staying in that room.
What about the second floor master's bedroom? Were you told by the detectives who was using that room when you took the photographs?
Objection, relevancy, hearsay. Can you repeat the question?
At the time that he took the photographs in the master's bedroom, were you able to determine who was in fact using the master's bedroom?
Your objection?
Well, that's a different question, so I don't object.
All right.
You can answer.
Based on just photographs of me being there, no, I could not tell who was in that room. I was told by the detectives this is the main bedroom. which typically is occupied by the adults of the household.
So you wouldn't be able to assess whether Miss Millete took a lot of makeup before she was gone from the house, right?
No, I would not.
You would not be able to assess based on your visit there and your photographs whether she packed some clothes, correct?
Correct.
Same thing with her purses.
Correct.
Was there anything that you saw that day inside that house that was suspicious to you that a crime occurred inside that house?
That's not my job to determine whether or not a crime has occurred. My job is to document the scene that I'm at.
As just a lay person, did you see anything that would lead you to believe that a crime was committed inside the house?
I'm not a lay person, though. I'm an expert in forensic. I'm a forensic specialist. I'm an expert in crime scene documentation and evidence collection, so I don't consider myself a lay person.
Well, then, as a crime scene investigator or specialist, did you have any opinion as to whether a crime was committed inside the house?
Once again, it's not my job to determine whether or not a crime has occurred. I document a crime scene as it is when I arrive.
How do you know that it's a crime scene?
That's a term that is given to this scene from police work, from the detectives. This case, it was a search warrant scene, but generally called a crime scene.
Do you know when that place became a crime scene?
This question takes the cake. Do you know when that place became a crime? That place. Okay, so now I am really, after seeing this a couple of times, understanding why there's so much criticism of her maybe not being up to the job. This is a very important case for this community, this very large community. It's high profile. I can see why she might have been a little bit over her head based on these questions. Again, we won't see this attorney in the trial. She's no longer on the case. But it's very informative and interesting and maybe somewhat entertaining to see this in action.
Objection made.
Oh, you can answer if you understand.
No, I don't know if that place has ever been a crime scene.
So you were just taking photographs, right?
And collecting evidence and preparing a sketch.
And when you collected those items inside the house, what did you do with them?
Those items were packaged at the scene, then transported back to the police department, where they were secured in our evidence examination room until I had time to document them through photographs and log them on an evidence sheet. Then those packages were sealed, and the sealed and labeled evidence was then submitted into our property room under chain of custody.
So as soon as you took those items, you packed them up and loaded them in your vehicle?
That's correct.
And then you transported them to the Chula Vista Police Department?
Correct.
Is that right?
That's right.
And when you reached the Chula Vista Police Department, you listed them one by one?
When I arrived at the Chula Vista Police Department
Right.
on January 23rd, 2021, they were secured within our evidence exam room. At a later date, that is when they were photographed again, packaged and sealed, and then submitted into the evidence room.
When you say secured, what do you mean by that?
They're in a locked room with limited access. Only a certain number of people are allowed to go into that room.
Are you allowed to enter the secured room?
Yes, I'm allowed to enter that security room.
And have you seen those items since you took them from the house of Mr. Millete?
I have not removed those items from our property room since I submitted them into evidence.
So that means you didn't re-examine them again, right?
That's correct.
Did you take any firearms with you on that day, January 23rd?
Yes, I did.
How many firearms
I
did you
believe I
take?
took 4 firearms.
Are you able to identify those firearms today if they are presented to you?
I would be able to identify them, yes.
When you identified the firearms, did you list any identifying numbers on your inventory list?
If those firearms had a serial number, yes, I would document that serial number. If the actual ones that I recovered that day, I would have to refer to my report to tell you if they did have serial numbers or not.
Today, as you sit here, do you remember writing the serial number on the inventory list?
I would have to refer to my report to determine if there were serial numbers.
And were those firearms stored in the same locked, secured room as the other items?
They were temporarily stored in the exam room until they were packaged and submitted into evidence, yes.
Were you personally present when that was happening?
when what was happening.
You know, as far as the firearms, the processing, and transferring or packaging, were you actually present when they were doing that?
Objection vague. Has been vague.
Do you understand the question?
Yes.
Over.
Once an item of evidence is recovered at a crime scene or a search warrant, that item is in my property. I maintain custody of that item all the way through until it is submitted to our evidence warehouse. So yes, I was the one who transported it, packaged, documented it, packaged it, and submitted it into the warehouse. At that point, that item is no longer in my custody.
Okay. And who would gain custody at that point?
The employees in our property and evidence room.
How many firearms were left inside the house after you took those 4 firearms on January 23, 2021?
I don't know how many were left in the house.
So that's an interesting question, right? Because they had a very specific, search warrants are very specific. The detectives maybe weren't aware of additional firearms at that time, as we know later on. Larry posted a photograph of quite a large cache of firearms with his little boy in the kitchen, right in the middle of all of it, which was very frightening. And law enforcement had some concerns about that, obviously for the safety of the children, but also about why he had so many firearms and why they were at the ready on the kitchen table. There was an imminent arrest, and they were concerned about Larry using those firearms to protect himself against an arrest potentially, and maybe harming others. So it's weird that she's asking about this, because in the preliminary hearing, this hadn't yet at this point, because this is only basically the first day. It hadn't come to light yet.
Did you have an opportunity to count the total firearms inside the safe?
No, just the ones that I took out of the safe.
Is there any reason why you only took 4?
Those are the ones I was instructed to take.
When you were taking photographs inside the house, was there any portion of the house besides the safe that contained any firearms?
Not that I recall, no.
When you were there on January 23rd, 2021, did you open the cabinets inside the house?
That's outside my job duties. That would be done by those officers who searched the house.
So the cabinets were not part of your job as a forensic specialist?
If a detective who searches a
So again, she's asking the question, the cabinets are outside your job as a forensic. What does that even mean? The cabinets? He just said he wasn't responsible for searching the home. He was told by the detectives what to photograph and what to collect for evidence. Her question is very vague. The more I take this in, and by the way, I had to record this a second time because, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that. But the more I take this hearing in, I can honestly start to appreciate more and more. It's not just funny, but it's kind of scary how vague these questions are. Lawyers generally are very specific in their questions and want very specific answers. That's kind of their job.
cabinet determines that there's evidence relevant to this case or incident, then yes, I'll photograph inside of that cabinet to document what item of evidence was recovered from that cabinet.
Okay. How long were you inside and outside of that residence on January 23, 2021?
I believe we arrived there approximately 4:30 in the afternoon, and we left around 10, so close to 5.5 hours.
And while you were photographing the area, were the children inside the rooms?
No, they were not.
Where were the children?
I don't recall.
The photograph of the front of the house, did you see any damage to any of the plantation or the furnishings that were in the front of that house?
Not that I recall, and not that I photographed.
How about the backyard? Were there any damage to the backyard, fencing, lawn?
Not that I noted or photographed.
Anything suspicious at all in the exterior of the house?
I'm not aware of their living conditions, so I wouldn't know what's normal and what's suspicious at that house.
Okay. Is there any reason why you did not take photographs of the attic?
At this time, the search warrant was for missing persons. There were a number of people within the house that had special conditions. We did not want to put the family out. We didn't want to cause too much trouble to them, so it was decided to not photograph the attic at that time.
Did you take photographs of the drainage inside the house?
No.
Did you see any evidence of any blood splatter inside the house?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yes, in the main bedroom bathroom, above one of the vanities, there appeared to be reddish brown stains that were less than 1 millimeter in size. Those stains were tested using a presumptive blood test, and that test came back positive.
Is it positive for human blood?
It's positive that the reaction worked. There are a number of false positives for this test. So to say that it's human blood, I could not do that. I can say that it tested positive using that presumptive test.
How big an area inside the house that contained that blood that you're referring to?
It was probably a 2 foot by 3 foot area.
Can you describe the appearance of the blood?
Yes, there were reddish brown stains that were less than 1 millimeter in size with a sparse distribution.
Can you describe the coloration?
Coloration of
Is it red? Is it brown? Is it black?
coloration of the blood or the
Yes, what you saw.
wall? They're reddish brown.
Okay. At that point when you saw that, did you consider that area as a crime scene or possibly a crime scene?
I determined that area to be an area with blood stains. I don't know if it's a crime scene or not. I don't know how those blood stains were produced, how they ended up on the wall, so I can say if it was a crime scene or not. Once again, I'm there just to document the scene. I'm not there to make a determination on whether this crime was committed.
So it's not your duty to arrive at the final conclusion as to whether that's blood or not.
No, that's beyond the scope of my job. That blood would be sampled, and those samples would be sent to the San Diego Sheriff's Office to determine whether or not that's human blood or not.
Did you see the final results of those tests?
No, I did not.
So, despite being very clear about what his purview is as his role as a forensic specialist for the Chula Vista Department, the police department, this attorney continues to try to get him to go beyond his scope and opine about conclusions about the case. I am not 100% sure why she's doing that, if she's being tricky, crazy like a fox, or if she's just clearly not understanding, I shouldn't say it that way, if she's not understanding clearly what his answers are. I'm just would love to hear what you think her motive is for continuing down this path.
Did you see any blood in any of the other areas of the house besides the one that you just described?
The bathroom connected to the main bedroom, that area was also examined using another presumptive blood test. The whole bathroom, including the tub areas, were sprayed with a chemical named Blue Star. This chemical would react with blood to give a chemiluminescence. I did spray the bathroom, and there was one other area that exhibited this chemiluminescence. I photographed that area and then collected the sample.
How many photographs did you take of the area?
I don't know offhand.
Your usual practice.
Of a general scene or of the chemiluminescence?
The area where you found the blood.
Maybe 10 total. Prior to doing the presumptive test, maybe a couple, maybe 3 while doing the test, depending on if I captured what I needed to.
And you took measurements of the area, correct?
Yes.
It's also interesting to me that she's bringing up the blood evidence, which wasn't brought up in the direct. So I'm wondering what her motivation is for doing that. It's not conclusive, and I'm sure that's why it wasn't brought up on the direct, at least as of yet, with this particular witness. But I'm just wondering if this is a good idea for her. Obviously, he's a judge; he knows his way around, the legal thought process and all that. But I don't know if she's wasting time here. I would love if you have any legal background for you to weigh in on this part. And again, this is a preliminary hearing and not a trial.
Were there animals inside the house when you visited Mr. Milete's house?
Not that I remember, no.
We're stopping at 4, counsel.
There. Thank you.
This is fun. Check this out. The icing on the cake for the final day of the first day of the hearing, the judge just interjected and said it is 4:00, which means it's time to stop. But check out what this attorney does.
How long was finished then? Just
Stopping at 4.
Oh,
She
okay.
may have a redirect, so
okay.
I'm almost finished. In other words, I'm just going to ignore you, judge, again, just like I ignored the witness and the prosecutor. Wow. All right.
we're going to stop. All right. We're recessing for today. So your order back tomorrow at 9 a.m. See you then.
All right. So today in this episode, tomorrow for them, we'll take a real quick pause. So let me grab that video because I don't want to linger any longer. I want to complete with David Garber on this video. So hold on. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Oh, I have to do this differently. I don't know why.
Good morning.
Morning.
The record will reflect that all counsel are present, counsel and the defendant are present. Witness Mr. Garber is still on stand. Good morning, sir. Good morning. You may continue with your cross-examination.
Okay, so just by way of reminder, this starts day 2, part 1. And I had to really search for this video and I forgot the name of the website. I will give you the website that had it because we need to raid them and give them as many followers as we possibly can. It's just a small segment of this day that I couldn't find anywhere else. And I will look up that name real quick here. Hold on one sec, because now I don't want to forget to shout them out because the name isn't up there. It's called Over Here, Overhere. And they have, like I said, I did a lot of stitching. I'm not going to go on and on about that. So let's just resume and let's make sure we follow Over Here as well. If they're still active, I'm not sure. It's not a big channel, but let's show them some love.
Thank you very much, Lana. Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Yesterday, you testified about finding blood inside the interior of the house that belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Millete.
Objection made.
Is that
Also,
Whether or not the house belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Millete or the blood.
okay, counsel, you can rephrase.
all right, yeah, thank you.
They're tired of it.
Today, testified about 3413 Los Gatos, Paseo Los Gatos in Chula Vista. This house belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Larry Millete. And so the question that I have for you is, did you find any blood inside the garage?
The house number 3413,
Okay, thank you. for
Paseo Los Gatos, is not the house that we searched on the 23rd.
Okay, so which house did you search on the 23rd?
The address of the house that we searched on the 23rd
I can't with
is 2413 Paseo Los Gatos.
How does she not know this?
Okay, so 2413 Paseo Los Gatos is the house or real estate that belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Larry Millete?
Oh my God. Yes.
That's the house that we searched, yes.
Okay, but you do not know if that house belongs to them.
I don't know who the house belongs to.
God.
Okay. When you went to that property, that house, did you not go there pursuant to a search warrant?
That's correct, we were there pursuant to a search warrant.
And the address on the search warrant gave you 2413 Paseo Los Gatos?
That is where I was directed, yes.
Okay. And you found blood inside that house, correct?
That's correct.
Did you find blood in the garage attached to that house?
No,
How about the backyard? Did you find blood in the backyard?
there's no blood observed in the backyard, no.
Now, in the front of this house, there was a table and some chairs and umbrellas there. Do you remember?
Yes,
Did you find blood in that area?
I did not see any blood in that area.
Now, were you part of a team that went there to investigate, or you were just called, but you were not part of the team to do or to pursuant to the search warrant?
I was part of the team.
Okay, how many people were in the team?
I would say approximately 8 or 9 of us.
Did you take the photographs before the team started the search?
That's our procedure, yes.
And did you take any photographs during the search itself?
Yes,
Did you also take photographs after the team completed their search and seizure?
yes.
And how many photographs total did you take?
For that specific search warrant, I don't know the exact number.
Could you give us an estimate?
300 photographs.
So it's appropriate there for her to ask for an estimate, but not in some of the other cases. I just want to say one thing positive, because there's a lot of positives about this attorney. I'm feeling like I should share something positive that I think about her. And I think she has a very, I like her style of questioning, her courtroom presence, the way that she delivers her questions, even though they're not always the greatest, the way she delivers and then kind of steps back away from the podium for the witness to answer. I kind of like that theatrics from her. Some people might not like it, but I kind of like it. It's her style, and it's not always easy to pick up on these things on video because we're only getting small clips of each attorney, but we're getting more of her than we did of the prosecutor so far. And I kind of like that. Sometimes I don't like it. You might notice it later on in some of the future episodes. Let me know, where she steps back and she looks away and she starts looking down at her notes while the witness is answering. And I think that's a little, maybe a little disrespectful. It might just be her style, but it comes off as a little bit disrespectful, especially when it doesn't seem like sometimes she's absorbing their answers based on the next question she'll ask because they just answered. So, but in any case, I just kind of, I should have just left that as a compliment, but I just criticized her again. My apologies. I do like her courtroom presence. I'll leave it at that.
While you were doing that photographing and receiving the items that were seized, were there additional Chula Vista police officers that joined you?
Yes, as we discussed, I was part of the team.
Did the team arrive at one time, or did they trickle in as you were doing the photographing?
We arrived at one time.
Were you assisted by any members of the NCIS, Naval Criminal Investigative Service?
No,
Were you assisted by any members of the FBI?
no,
So exclusively the detectives and the officers that were present were members of the Chula Vista Police Department.
that is correct.
This is an interesting question. Now, the Naval Investigative Services, I forget the whole name, the acronym for that, and the FBI became involved in this case. I don't know that they were involved at this point. So, but in any case, this is why she's asking about it. This case became multi-level law enforcement.
Were you part of the officers that arrived at the same address on January the 10th, 2021?
No, I was not.
This is probably going to be one of my last interjections, just for those who are not familiar with this case. She's asking about January 10th. Officers did visit Larry Millete at Maya and Larry's home and without a search warrant, and he did allow them to come in, take a look around. So we'll hear more about that later, but she wanted to know if he was brought in for that as well, which would have indicated maybe getting a little over their skis, but he wasn't. So that maybe it wasn't the answer she was looking for.
Are you aware that there were certain police officers that searched the house on January the 10th, 2021?
I'm not aware of the activities that took place on January 10th.
So you're not also aware if there were any reports that were written prior to your doing your forensic studies on January 23, 2021?
No, I did not look at any reports prior to that.
Did you speak to Mr. Larry Millete on January 23, 2021?
Yes, I did.
But tell us about your conversation with him.
Objection, hearsay. Not
Sustained.
supported.
Okay, so what did you tell Mr. Millete?
I was
That's
direct.
irrelevant.
Counsel,
Well, you were. What's the purpose?
Counsel.
Excuse me.
there's an objection. What is your
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should
Objected
be
on
sorry.
relevancy grounds? And what is your response to that to me?
Okay. Your Honor, I'm trying to determine the scope and the completeness of that investigation that day, and it appears that the officer was actually the one who may have spoken to him first before the whole team went in. So I just want to explore that to see if, in fact, he was able to elicit or determine or obtain any information that would be relevant to the investigation. That Mr. Millete was, in fact, either involved or maybe he was a suspect in the case at the time. So we're still trying to discover the evidence that they have that they're implicating Mr. Millete into this alleged disappearance of his wife.
That's laughable, but not funny. The alleged disappearance of his wife. There's no question that Maya Millete has disappeared. She's alleging that she and Larry, on behalf of Larry, that Maya left on her own volition. She left voluntarily. She took off. She abandoned her entire family. They're still saying that. The question isn't whether or not she's gone. So here again, but what's interesting here too is how this attorney barreled through with her question after an objection, just pretended like she didn't hear it. The judge had to stop her and say, hey, you have an objection. How do you respond to that? And then she starts testifying and opining about her theory of the case, which they didn't stop her from, but he will rule on the objection next.
My objection would be section 866 and saying grounds would be relevance. And I think the question could be asked whether or not he was tasked with taking any kind of statement from the defendant, but to that extent, I don't think that that was his job. He's not describing that's his job. So it's not relevant.
The objection is sustained. You can rephrase. You want to ask what his role was. It appears as a forensic specialist, his role is to take photographs. He's outlined what his duties are. So I'm going to sustain the objection. You can attempt to inquire further regarding just what he did. Additionally, counsel, the witness has testified that he is not a sworn peace officer.
Is there any reason why you spoke to Mr. Larry Millete at that time?
Yes, there is.
What's the reason?
I was instructed to recover a reference mouth swab from Mr. Millete.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
What procedure did you follow to do that?
I explained to Mr. Millete what I was going to do, and I proceeded to do that.
Okay, now I'm kind of fascinated. So I need to ask one of my lawyer friends if in California the defense doesn't have any discovery given to them like they would for a trial in advance of the trial. Are they literally using this preliminary hearing as discovery on the part of the defense? Is the prosecution allowed to just surprise the defense in California with all this evidence, and she's literally unaware of this and had no ability to access this information prior to the hearing? I am so curious. I will get an answer for you. I'm going to have to get in touch with one of my lawyer friends for an answer, though. Or if you have legal experience in California and you can let us know in the chat, that would be great. Sorry, I
So
had.
how many mouth swabs did you obtain from him?
One mouth swab consisting of 2 sterile cotton swabs.
Did you also take any additional mouth swabs to the civilian people inside the house?
No, I did not.
So you did not take the mouth swab of Mr. Milete's father, correct?
Correct.
As well as the children and his mother.
That is correct as well.
I love this witness.
What did you do with the mouth swabs after you obtained them from Mr. Milete?
Those mouth swabs were packaged in a manila envelope. That envelope was transported back to the police department. It was secured in our exam room until I had time to document and package that item. After that, it was submitted into our evidence and property room.
If I understood you correctly, the mouth swabs were, after you took them from Mr. Milete's mouth, you put them in a preservative, or?
No,
So you just took the swab and then put it where?
the swab was packaged in a manila envelope.
Just said.
Manila envelope?
Correct.
Just said. Okay.
How long were they in the Manila envelope before you were able to transfer them to the right person?
Objection beyond the scope. Nothing.
Counsel, your response?
He's forensic specialist, Your Honor, and so I want to make sure the procedure he was following as a forensic specialist has been in fact.
There is an objection that your questions are beyond the scope of the direct examination. And I do not recall Ms. Bowles eliciting any testimony regarding DNA collection during her direct examination. So, Ms. Bowles, what is your response?
Beyond the scope.
Yep.
I did not elicit any testimony with regard to collection or anything else in my life.
May I respond to that, Your Honor?
Yes.
And I'd be happy actually to a sidebar if that might be helpful to the court as well. I'll submit it to the court.
All right, then. We'll go sidebar. Record it.
Okay, I believe this is a rather a long sidebar, and this is the first time they brought up that objection that the cross is outside of the scope of the direct, because some of the other things that she asked about were outside of the scope. So it's kind of interesting to see the chess playing here as to what the prosecution is objecting to and not. Let me see if I can find where they resume. I do believe that will sum up the cross. Hold on one sec.
Mr. Garber, do you, just to clarify, what is your job at?
And just to clarify, this is now the redirect, even though we didn't hear the prelude to that, but the cross has sat down. The defense attorney has sat down now.
The scene in this particular case at the scene of the search warrant on January 23rd.
My duties were to document the crime scene using photographs and sketching methods and to recover evidence.
You, on cross-examination, there was a question asked of you about a recovery of a swab from the bathroom. Do you recall that question?
Yes, I do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it fair to say then that your job is simply to collect a swab from that biological evidence that's pointed out to you essentially by a detective?
Objection, reading.
is, I'll rephrase it. When a detective locates what they believe to be biological evidence, what is generally your job at that point?
My job is to recover that biological evidence.
And so in the case of, for example, a potential drop of blood, what would be your job, or what was your job when a suspected drop of blood or blood material was found in the bathroom?
I recovered a sample of that substance using sterile cotton swabs.
Is it your job then to request to have it tested?
No, it is not.
Is it your job to find out what the results are from the analysis?
No, it is not.
Is that the detective's job?
That's correct.
And so if the detective submitted that to the sheriff's department for analysis, is it your job to examine the results of that analysis?
No, it is not.
So whether or not that blood came back to Maya Millete, that's not something that you even have information about.
That is correct.
And I want to just ask you a couple of other questions. Documentary evidence that is located at the scene of search warrant, is that something that you also take a photograph of?
Yes, it is.
Did you do that in this case?
Yes.
Can I be first with the exhibits?
Yes.
I'm going to show you a series of some photographs. They're Courts Exhibit 20. And looking at 20-1, do you recognize that photograph to be a photograph you took on January 23rd?
Yes, I recognize this photograph.
Checking that on the screen, 20-1. Photograph that's projected up on the screen, the same as the exhibit you're looking at in front of you.
Yes, it is.
Now, is it your job to strike that? Is the detective determines where that evidence is and then points that out to you to take a photograph of?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then do you oftentimes then, once it's collected back at the station, take another photograph of it?
Yes.
And what would this be a photograph of?
This is a photograph of a page from a notebook that was found inside the main bedroom.
Photograph 20-2. You recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And looking at 20-2, and is that a document that you located at the residence?
Yes, it is.
And then took a photograph of later on?
Yes.
20-3. You recognize that photo?
Yes, I do.
And is the photo up on the screen the same as 20-3 in the binder in front of you?
Yes, it is.
And what's that photograph of?
It's a photograph of a rifle and shotgun that was located within a safe in the first floor closet.
What about 20-4? You recognize what that is a photograph of?
Yes, I do.
And is 20-4 up on the screen the same as the photograph in the binder?
Yes, it is.
And what is that photograph of?
This is a photograph of that rifle that was recovered from the safe. This photograph was taken during my evidence documentation processing while at the police department.
So once you collect the evidence at the scene, you take it back to the police department,
That's correct.
and then do you do a second set of photos then to document whatever was collected?
Yes,
So this photograph would be part of that series of photos.
correct.
Looking at 20-5, do you recognize what that is a photograph of?
Yes, I do.
What is that a photograph of?
What's projected is the same as in the binder. This is a photograph of a computer screen in Laura's bedroom.
And 20-6, do you recognize what's up on the screen to be the same photograph? 20-6 in the binder in front of you.
Yes, it is.
And what is this a photograph of?
This is a photograph of the computer screen. It's a closer photograph of the search history.
And the 20-.
It's pretty blurry. Not sure if you can make it out. I thought I would pause just to give you a chance to see it a little better.
1 through 20-6, those are all photos that you took.
Yes, they are.
All right, thank you. Another question.
Redirect. I'm sorry, recross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer, did you also take photographs of the other firearms that you took that day?
Yes, I did.
The letter that was from,
Sorry, I didn't recross.
it's okay. That letter that you just stated that you photographed, where was that located? Inside the bedroom? What part of the bedroom did you find that?
That letter was recovered from the dresser that is adjacent to the door, the entry door of the main bedroom.
It was inside the drawer, right?
That's right.
Did you find any other items that contained also some letters in it?
I recovered another letter, yes.
Okay.
I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor. no.
Anyone seek excused or subject to redirect?
There it is. Excuse me. Oh, that's I am so sorry. I didn't cut that off just a second earlier. That was David Garber collecting all his papers right in front of his microphone. We could hear that very well. So there it is. The second witness completed in the preliminary hearing of Larry Millete in California. That was again in 2023. So thank you for joining me. Please join me for the next episode. I'm breaking this up into smaller sections so that we can have a good record of this. And next up will be Maya's beloved sister, Mary Chris, who at this time, as of today, has custody of their 3 children after a long custody battle. So thanks again for watching my coverage of this preliminary hearing. It means a lot to me. And I do hope to attend a trial. So I'm prepping too. And I really appreciate your comments because it helps me learn more. And since I'm not monetized again, YouTube doesn't really promote my videos on the regular. So that's up to you guys for liking, subscribing, and mostly for sharing. And again, there's a playlist that you can take a look at to catch up. We haven't gotten too far yet. So hopefully, as we continue on, the video and audio quality does improve. There is hope. So there's a lot of patching together to get this far, but CBS 8 was getting the hang of it too. It's a learning experience for them. So hopefully the actual trial will have even better quality video as well. I will not be live streaming the trial, but I certainly will direct you to channels that will be. So with that, we will see you tomorrow for the next episode. I certainly appreciate you being here. I appreciate hearing your thoughts. And more than anything, by engaging here and sharing, we are getting more eyes on this case because Maya is still missing. It's tragic, and more people need to hear about this. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.